You are listening to the BOBcast, a golfing podcast, brought to you by the Oban Times. Welcome to the Oban Times BOBcast episode 10, available on our website, Apple, Spotify, Google, and almost everywhere you can find podcasts. I'm Stephen Day, struggling to get through the rough to find that flag thing, but my experts are here to guide me through the hazards. George Graham and Keith McIntyre, and joining us live for the first time, Martin Laing. And we've also got Harry, who's here on work experience.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Stevie.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, guys.
I should say, Keith, you're kind of joining us from an even more remote location than last week.
Well, last week was Edinburgh, and this is far more exotic. I'm actually in Budapest, in freezing cold Budapest, from a nice coffee shop at the moment.
Excellent. Right, well, Martin, this is your first live BOBcast, although
Yes,
you've
indeed.
contributed. What's your golfing experience?
Oh, dodgy. Dug up a few golf courses in my time, but not with any great success.
Harry, what's your golfing experience?
A golf player shouted at me once, and that's about it.
Good. Okay, well, straight into it. Golfing activity this week. For those who golf, I'm assuming that's George and Keith. How's your golfing been?
Not for me. I didn't play it at all at the weekend. It was so wet, and I'll play in any weather at all, but it was so wet on Saturday, and our course was closed on Sunday, so not swung a club in about a fortnight.
Well, I'm a member at Stirling Golf Club, and it was closed over the weekend as well, so it's weather taking its toll everywhere.
Yeah, we were lucky. We got a few holes in on Saturday morning, just before the weather came in. As a text, Keith, I'm hungry to say that I think I achieved I had a better achievement in my hole-in-one that I got at Glencrutton by parring the first, which I don't think I'll ever do again. I may get another hole-in-one, I'll never par that first again. But that was my
I think I could play that hole about 200 times and never par it. It's an absolutely ridiculous hole, that one. It's probably the toughest golf hole I've ever played.
Well, I've played it with you, Keith, and it's one of the hardest holes I've ever played anyway.
Yeah.
Harry, any golfing experience this weekend?
No, I mostly was travelling this weekend to try and get up here, so didn't get a chance.
The reason we're here, of course, is Bob. How's he been doing this weekend?
He didn't play. He opted out of the tournament in Oman, and actually it just shows you how tough the tour is getting, because the young lad, whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce, the Finnish guy, 21 years old, got his maiden tour victory. So we all think, Bob at 23, 24 is young and up and coming, but there's a 21-year-old one. So, but he's back out. Bob's back out this Thursday in Qatar. So it's the Qatar Masters. So a real opportunity for him to get a decent finish there, and then he moves on to Kenya. So no golf for Bob last weekend, but it's starting to hot up over the next few weeks.
Did you watch the playoff on Sunday, Keith?
George, I was in a bar in Budapest on Sunday night. You really expect me to be watching a playoff?
It was actually quite exciting. I think it went to four extra holes. They played the 18th about 4 times. A young boy had a chance to win it in the first playoff, and he just didn't quite get his putt. And Brandon Stone looked like he might do it, but it's quite an achievement at 21-year-old, and he's maiden tour. It really is quite an achievement.
You're going to have a go at pronouncing his name, George, because I've not got it in front of me.
Valley Mackey. Because I thought they kept calling him Ali Mackey. So I thought, Ali Mackey, that's not his first name.
Sounds Scottish.
I should say there, you mentioned Bob. Bob, as Keith says, is out in Qatar this week. He tees off at 7:25 Qatar time, but it'll be about 25 past 10 actually over here. He's teeing up with Romain Langasque and Thomas Peters on Thursday and Friday. So it's hopefully gets a show back in the road after the last time he was out, but it wasn't. He did such a great time.
The good thing is, even though he's not been playing, he's holding his world ranking. It's still sitting at 67, so it's not like he's suddenly slipping down the world rankings. So he just needs a couple of good finishes, and he'll be back up there.
Yep. Any scuttlebutt from Glencrutton?
No. I didn't really see an awful lot of people when I was up there at the weekend, because the weather was so bad. There was quite a few people on the course, but I never spoke to that many people in the clubhouse. So no, I've not got any gossip or any news or anything like that. Unfortunately,
nothing you can repeat, George.
Nothing I can repeat. No.
Well, straight to you, George, being the stat man, the BOBcast mileometer. Where do we stand?
Well, including Qatar, he's been on the European Tour, he's travelled 220,000 miles. If you want a couple of stats, which is very boring, but he played this when he played this competition last year, he was tied 31st, won €12,000 and get 22 points. And that's as great a stat as you're going to get out of me today.
Okay, well, I'm hoping for a greater stat. So, how many golf balls annually lost around the world?
There was quite a few figures bandied about when I tried to do a bit of research on this, but 10 million a year seems to be how many golf balls are lost around the world. Apparently,
I think most of them are mine.
Well, apparently the average is 2 lost around, which I say I must be pushing that average up quite a bit. I was thinking.
There must be money in retrieving these golf balls, surely.
Well, strangely, strange you say that, because the where I got that figure of 10 million was actually a company called Laing and Balls, who they specialise in selling balls that have been rescued from lakes, and that was their estimate that 10 million balls were lost around the world.
Did you see that there was I was looking up that number and couldn't find a definitive number either, but there was an interesting wee article about Nessie. They sent down a sub in Loch Ness. It was one of these searching for Nessie things, and what they actually discovered was 100,000 golf balls on the bed of Loch Ness, because they reckon people are just standing and they're almost treating it like a driving range. So they found they photographed and videoed 100,000 golf balls on the bed of Loch Ness. So if you fancy a wee dive down there, Jobs, and get some free golf balls.
Probably choke Nessie to death.
And I think we should leave the talk of golf balls at there. And now, another NASA link. We are running out of them, honest. NASA needed stronger, more durable materials for its space missions. A landmark discovery was made during a research project with vitrified metals in 1992. A vitrified metal is a frozen liquid that fails to crystallize during solidification, combining the properties of glass and metal not found in nature. Liquid metal is a new class of vitrified metals and is known as metallic glass. Also called vitralloy, liquid metal is an alloy blend more than twice as strong as titanium, but softer and more elastic. The product has been strengthened since its discovery, and now goes by the name trademarked liquid metal. Liquid metal golf clubs were the first commercial applications of NASA's technology. The product has dozens of other potential commercial uses, including wristwatches, cell phones, and industrial machinery. Would you like to have one of these golf clubs, guys? Do you think it would make an improvement to your game?
I don't think it would make any difference to my game whatsoever.
I don't think it would make any difference to my game whatsoever. I think my capabilities, it's nothing to do with equipment.
It just sounds really weird that you've got elastic metal in a golf club. Just seems very, very strange. But
when I started reading it, going back to golf balls, because I think you mentioned, Keith, in a couple of podcasts ago, that some of the balls now are filled with liquid.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that's where this was going. That it was sort of, that was the core of it, was this something that was strong but is more elastic. But it's actually golf clubs, which surprises me.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be playing with bendy golf clubs anytime soon, unless I'm bending them over my knee.
Well, I was just about to say, I was going to take the sting out of the tail here and say, if I usually bend them in half.
Well, my understanding of it is that you actually get more power out of it because of the elasticity, as opposed to a rigid bit of wood or a rigid bit of metal.
Where do you get this stuff, Stevie?
Where do I get this stuff?
Aye. You might have to cut that out as well.
It's physics. It's pure physics.
This is the same stuff that NASA want to make their spacecraft out of.
Well, the reason that they want to make it out of this stuff,
NASA cast.
Yeah, is that when you launch stuff into space, you don't want metals to be really rigid. You want them to flex a little, because the last thing you want is something that will just go snap. You want it to bend out shape and then go back into shape, as opposed to halfway up, go boom. That's the scientific explanation.
Right.
To boldly go where no golf ball has gone before.
Now, we have a question from our listener. If you could wave a magic wand and improve one aspect of your game, what would you choose? Longer drives, more accurate irons, better putting?
I'd have to say all of the above.
Okay, I need to choose one. Going by me at the weekend, it was my putting. My putting was absolutely horrendous, although it's usually not too bad. But, so at the moment, I would say putting.
Well, there is the old saying in golf that you putt for show and drive for show and putt for no. So I'd go along with George there and say my putting is pretty poor. I'd have to get better.
I reckon if I had to pick one, it would be bunker play. I am awful out of bunkers, absolutely dreadful. My heart sinks when the ball goes in there because I know it's a complete lottery and whether I'll get it out in one shot or 10 shots. So I really need to go for lessons on bunker play. It just destroys my game.
Well, for me, I'd need to learn to play golf, so...
Keith, I think you should try avoiding the bunkers.
Yes.
So as a first for the BOBcast, our listener is going to ask a question. Hello, listener.
Hello, BOBcast. Greetings to all of you, George, Keith and Stevie. Love listening to your show. Question for the boys. If you had a desert island golf hole, you can only play one hole for the rest of your life, what hole and what course would you choose? Mine would be hole 3 on the Carbridge golf course where I got my first par and I could spend the rest of my life trying to get a birdie on it. So what hole would you play for the rest of your life?
I've been fortunate enough to play the old course at St Andrews a couple of times, and the 17th, which is notoriously one of the most difficult holes in golf, I'd play that over and over again until I got a par. The twice I've played it, I've actually been on the green in 2, which is that should be half the battle, and then I've 3 putted for bogey 5. So I would love to actually just keep playing that and get a par, because it's a fantastic golf hole, terrifying tee shot straight over the corner of the old course hotel. I'm sure a number of times balls have ended up in people's balconies. But yeah, that would be my choice, the 17th at St Andrews.
Martin.
Oh, I'd go for the 18th at Stirling. It's a magnificent hole, good par 5, elevated tee, fantastic views across the old city, the castle, wonderful hole.
Well, I'm going to agree with Keith, basically because I can never remember one hole from another, so he sounds quite knowledgeable, so I'm going to just piggyback in the back of his answer.
Oh, thanks very much, George. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Right, silly question of the week. Why do golfers shout Fore? And in fact, do they still shout Fore?
They do still shout Fore. There's quite a lot of controversy on the tour. You see a number of players now, they don't bother shouting Fore, and they almost point to where the ball's going as if somebody 300 yards up the middle of at the side of the fairway can see them pointing. So there's, they're trying to reintroduce it in the professional game. I think amateurs are pretty good at shouting Fore, but it seems to be sort of disappearing from the professional game, and you see quite a lot of people getting hit in the crowds.
Oh yeah, in the amateur game, most golfers, if they hit the ball straight, will shout Fore to alert other people around the course. Yeah. I mean, I believe
the origin of it, because I did do a little bit of research when I saw this question, Steve, even though I'm on holiday. I believe the origin goes right back to the start of golf, when golf was pretty much a rich man's game, and we talked about the way golf balls were made, with feathers and things like that, and they were very, very expensive. And Fore, I believe, comes from the fact that the people who played golf had caddies, like ball spotters, who would be, I don't know how many 100 yards up the fairway, and when a ball was heading in their direction, apparently they shouted Fore caddy. So they had what were called Fore caddies, which are the equivalent of ball spotters. So I think there's not a definitive answer to where it comes from, but that seems to be where the smart money is. It was with these ball spotters were called Fore caddies.
Quite famously, Bob in the Open was played, I can't remember the guy's name now, which is a bit remiss of it, and gave him a bit of a telling off because he hadn't been shouting Fore.
Oh, they got into a bit of a barney about that, didn't they?
Well, he had Bob's caddy's mother or something like that, which
that's
made
right.
It all even worse.
Right.
But I think they were talking about it. the tournament was on at the weekend, because Brandon Stone was doing a bit of that towards in his round his last day, and the commentators were very, very disapproving of him not shouting Fore.
Mm-hmm.
So who is responsible if a golf ball hits you on a course? You for not getting out of the way, or is it the golfer, or is it an act of God, just one of these things that happens?
I think it's just one of those things that happens.
Like, golfers are supposed to shout Fore, and whether people get out the road once that's been, when somebody shouted it, I suppose I really don't know what happened. I'm guessing that Keith's probably hit somebody.
Well, I told you a story when we had the client when I was at Westerwood, but I also I've got a history at Westerwood Golf Club where I don't think the hole's still there. They've remodelled it, and I hit a 4-iron off a tee, and it was surrounded by houses. And they actually had to sign up, you weren't allowed to hit your driver. You had to hit an iron off a tee. And I managed to shank a 4-iron straight through somebody's patio doors and shattered their patio doors. And you're asking about who's liable, Stevie. I mean, it was funny, I was playing with this guy and I said, God, what do I do now? And he said, run. I no, I can't run. So I went over, and the woman, believe it or not, the woman came out and handed me my golf ball back. And I thought, right, okay. And I said, look, what do you want me to do? And she said, oh, don't worry about it. Went back to the clubhouse, finished my round, and her husband was waiting for me to say that I would have to pay for his patio doors. And I said, well, I don't mind, you'll have insurance, I don't mind paying your excess. And then he started ranting and raving he was going to call the police. And I said, well, you'll need to call the police because I'm happy to pay your excess. Never heard another thing about it. So I have no idea whether I was liable, he was liable. I would have thought if you've got a house on the edge of a golf course, you would probably have to tell your insurance company that you were on the edge of a golf course, but I never heard any more about it. So if the guy hears this, he'll probably chase me for money now.
Statute of limitations, how long ago was this?
Oh, this would be about 20 years ago.
You should be fair.
It wasn't long after I hit the guy on Westerwood, so I don't think I'll ever be welcome back at Westerwood.
I was going to say, are you still allowed to play there?
I've just changed my name.
Okay, well that kind of wraps it up for today. Thank you all very much for Keith, especially for spending time in a bar and dialing in.
It's a coffee shop, Stevie. It's not a bar. I'm going
to
to
the pints getting poured in the background.
Yeah, we can hear it. We know it's a bar. Keith, George, Martin, Harry, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. If you've got a golfing question or just want to get in touch for the next episode, then email BOBcast@obentimes.co.uk or send us a message through Facebook.